Number 2, drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over!
Take it light. Take it.
Now you're more fluent.
Makina, he's got 3!
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hampton with my great friend, former Milwaukee Bucks center and legend from Milwaukee, Paul Mokeski, coming to you on a Monday evening. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Big Mo, it is so good to see you. I couldn't wait for the show to start. I want to get your take on everything that went down over the weekend. But before we get to the basketball, because we're really going to dig in on that, just your thoughts of the Olympics overall. Did you enjoy watching them? Was this one of the better years, you think, for watching the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, I think Paris did a good job. They have so many iconic buildings there with Notre Dame and the Seine River and, of course, the Eiffel Tower. And, I mean, that venue, the beach volleyball venue, right under the Eiffel Tower, I mean, how more iconic can you get? I mean, that had to be just phenomenal. A friend of mine, Larry Kristoviak, has daughters that play at a high level, and he was there with his family. And, man, it was just awesome to watch. The opening, I liked some of it. I didn't like some of it. Some of it was hard to follow. It was pretty much spread out everywhere. I liked the idea of the boats, with the teams coming down the river, except it was pouring rain for a lot of it. So, I loved, it's one of the years where you watch gymnastics and you watch track, even though, they're going on during the rest of the years, you tend to focus on them. And, I think the beach volleyball, the indoor volleyball, to me, is much like basketball. It's a team sport, and there's high jumping and spiking and blocking and, very fast action. Track and field, it's amazing, especially with the camera angles they have now. Back in the day, they had one camera and but now they're right there and they're running with them and you can see how fast they're moving. It's like amazing. Cycling and all that other stuff, that's not my cup of tea, but if it is, you've got good coverage. So, I think they did a great job. There's multiple channels, NBC, but also a lot of other channels you can watch other stuff on. I think they did a great job.
Hey, Mo, did you see much boxing?
No, and I like boxing.
I didn't either.
I think that was on a different channel because I saw a little bit of it, but usually there's more. But you know what? There was more back in the day, if Ali is fighting or it's like, Sugar Ray Leonard and, guys like that. I think that's, and with MMA, it's kind of taken a back seat now to the other sports. But
I don't think we had any big name boxers that went over this time. Because I was looking for it. What's up, Steve? Good to have you here, brother. And welcome to all our viewers out there. We want to get your thoughts, your questions, your comments on what transpired in the Olympic Games, how you thought they were. We really want your thoughts on the basketball portion of it. But any thoughts and comments, type them in, and I know you got questions for Big Mo. I'll get them to you, and we'll go from there. George is checking in. What's up, man? What's up, George?
Hey, Ricky. What's up, man?
Good to have you, Rick. Yeah, Mo, it was I agree with you. I really enjoyed watching. And of course, USA, we had 126 medals. I think that was 36 more than the next country, China. China had 40 gold medals, and so did we. But America did very well in practically everything, just kind of running away in the medal count.
Oh, you know what else I liked? Synchronized swimming. when they
Oh,
had the,
come on, Mo.
you know,
Come on,
when,
Mo.
when you can synchronize swimming to Snoop Dogg. Come on, man. It was awesome.
Hey, Mo, having lived in Paris, when you saw some of the sites, was that kind of familiar to you?
Yeah, I mean, we were there for about 5 months for most of a season, and obviously did Eiffel Tower and Notre Dame and the Seine River, and but the amazing part is how old the buildings are. Some of the churches are just spectacular. They've been around forever, and the sightseeing is. I'm not, I'm a meat and potatoes guy, so the cuisine doesn't really do that much for me, but, it's just really historic. And, when you go around into some of these churches that have been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years, it's just phenomenal. And, it's a city full of, a little bit of everything, music, arts, uh, uh, style, clothing, everything kind of. Paris is kind of the hub of all that.
Yeah, yeah. Steve, I kind of ran in that too, with trying to keep up with everything. One thing you had to know which channel to watch some of these events on. That's for sure. And of course, the time difference
Yeah.
uh, hurt. Now, next time they'll be in LA, so we'll have a little better handle in terms of following there. But Mo,
Well,
I'm
Rick,
already getting.
you might have to come visit me in Vegas, and we'll take a ride to LA and do our show from LA.
Yeah, we'll do that, Mo. I'm taking you up on that right now. But we are already getting some hoop questions, Mo. Let's go to Ricky here. Talking about we are right to get picked off, especially in women's hoop, and especially the other teams will want to beat us on our home turf too. But Mo, I think the men may be in more trouble than the women.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was really surprised at how France stepped up in the women's division and really not only gave USA, a game, but they were 1 foot from tying it up and going to overtime. And one thing that I do, Steve, is I tape all of the things so I can watch it when I want to watch it, and I just don't really pay attention to the news, so I don't get a head start. But I played the game back, the USA France game. I played it this morning and watched it, and if you watched it at the 3 minute mark, it was like a tie game, and there was an out of bounds ball that actually we touched, but they gave it to us, and we
I
inbounded
remember
before
that.
they could do the review. In NBA it's this, and FIBA it's this. you know. And then the next time down, Asia Wilson got a catch on the elbow and does what she always does, one dribble pull up, and her shot hit the back of the rim, bounced all the way up, hit the
Yeah,
top of the backboard, and went in just like a
yeah,
Boston Celtic shot, Larry Bird shot. And that was a big turning point in that game where France, has a chance to beat USA, who's won, I think, 8 medals in a row, something like that. That's like 35, 8 years, whatever that is. But I think overall, international play in basketball for the women is way behind USA. I don't know if the France game was a fluke or not, but in the men's side, it's not a fluke anymore. You're talking about Serbia, Germany, Spain, of course, France, and some others there that in 4 years, they're going to be capable of beating the United States. It's going to be a battle for the United States to even get a medal next Olympics in 2028, because all these other teams are catching up to us. There was, I think I saw a stat in the Dream Team in '92. I think there were 6 other NBA players in the Olympics. There was over 60 on other teams this year, and that's only going to grow. I mean, the first 2 picks in the NBA draft, guess where they came from? France. They came from France. So
yeah,
France is only going to get better. And,
yeah.
I
And,
think,
and Paul, think about this: 28. LeBron and Curry will be in their 40s. They won't be playing. KD will
LeBron's
be
going
right
to
at 40.
LeBron's going to be 44. Come on, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So
KD has a chance, outside chance, but up and coming, we have talent. But I think the USA needs to rethink the way they do this whole thing because first of all, we think the World Cup is nothing to us. When it's for the rest of the countries, it means everything. It actually means more than the Olympics to other countries. And we tend to send our JV team to the World Cup, which last year I don't think we got a medal in the World Cup because we did that. And but it also, I think we need to rethink and get players commitments earlier, so they need to play the summers leading up to the Olympics, not just the 2 weeks that they have to prepare. 5 days or 6 days in Vegas, play some friendly games, doesn't get it anymore. So if you put together a team and they commit, and 3 summers before the Olympics, they play friendly games. They can play in Vegas, they can play wherever. They can bring Spain in and France in and whoever. Then 2 years before, the same team practices and they go play in a World Cup. And then they compete there, and then they're ready for the Olympics. The other thing I think that USA has to rethink is they need to think about a team. It's not about putting the 12 best all-stars out there and like in the old days and roll the ball out and we're going to win. Those days are past now. Those are gone. We need point guards. We need wings. We need three-point shooters, knockdown shooters. We need bigs that can battle with the big physical players in FIBA. Thank goodness we had Embiid this year to bang against the Joker, or we probably wouldn't have won that game. So we need to think, and then we need role players. Derek White was a perfect fit. Why? Because he's a good defender, second team All NBA, I think. He plays multiple positions, and he's used to playing with. He plays with Jaylen Brown. He plays with Tatum. He plays with Porzingis. He's the fourth option or the fifth. So he knows how to play that role, and he fit in perfect with us. So I think Team USA needs to rethink what they're doing and how they're preparing for the Olympics. Or guess what, people? We won't be even in the bronze game in the Olympics probably.
Hey, Mo, I want you to
address. Be sad.
I want you to address Ricky's question here. But before that, another guy who will be right at 40 near it is Holiday. And he's a valuable piece to have on a team. And I don't know of anybody now that plays like him.
Yes. Maxey plays like Holiday. Absolutely. For Philadelphia. He is perfect fit. He's a point guard. He can distribute. He can get to the basket. He can defend, and he can score, and he can shoot. Maxey is the perfect fit. Slide him right in for Holiday.
Okay. Now to Ricky's point, who you got coaching the next team?
Nobody wants that job. Ricky, nobody wants the job.
So Kyrie's gonna just they just coach themselves like Kyrie.
I mean, Ricky, Steve Kerr, who's a friend of mine, but he's got like 7 championships as an NBA player. He's got 4 as an NBA coach, and people are saying he can't coach, and because he didn't play Tatum in a game. I mean, it's so ridiculous, and he's catching so much flack from talking heads on ESPN. Some know what they're talking about, some don't. Even Tatum's mom is on him. Even Bob Cousy is on him, and all he did was win 6 games and win a gold medal and, play great players. Sure, some players, if you have 12 All-Stars, 2 All-Stars are going to have to sit. Sorry, that's the numbers. It's only a 40-minute game. That's 8 minutes less than an NBA game, which is 40 player minutes less than an NBA game. So guess what? Your minutes are not going to be there, and you're not going to be able to play 12 players. And this isn't the Little League. Everybody doesn't get the bat. Everybody doesn't get a participation medal. You play to win the game, right? And that's what Steve did, and all he's catching is grief. So, I like Spoelstra for sure. Bill Self, okay. Izzo, okay. But I don't know if any of those guys want to take that on. Why would you want to, sacrifice? It's not really that much of a sacrifice, but spending 2 or 3 weeks out of your summer that you usually have off, and now you're winning games, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you're catching grief from everybody. Why do you want to
Yeah.
put yourself through that? But I like, out of that group right there, Ricky, I like Spoelstra. I think he
Yeah.
has relationships with all the players. I would say they need to really start thinking about being a team, not only as a makeup and a combination of players, but also how they play. Like when you watch other teams play, like Serbia and France, they run actions, dribble handoff, flare pick, screen and roll, skip pass. All this stuff is from actions that they run. Now you can't just put the ball in someone's hand, of course, unless it's Steph Curry, maybe, and just have everybody stand around. That doesn't get it done anymore. You run actions, and if you watch the FIBA game, there's less pick and rolls and more handoffs. You know why?
Mhm.
Because you can still hand off and move your body and knock somebody off, and it gets physical. So I think USA, whoever is going to coach that in 2028, is going to have to think more of, we need the team together for at least 2 or 3 summers. And it doesn't have to be a long time, at least 2 or 3 weeks. We have a training camp, we play some friendlies, and then we have a system in. We have some go-to play. We have some plays against the zone, which bothered USA again for some ungodly reason. I don't know why. I could drop a play here on this whiteboard behind me called Horns Baseline. It kills the zone every time, but for some reason they don't do that. But Steve, Ricky, I think Spoelstra is the best pick, but we'll see.
Hey, Paul. I think to your point about Kerr is so good because a couple of games into the season, into the Olympics, Steph was really struggling from the field, and he said, "I'm not worried about Steph Curry. He'll be there when we need us." I mean, he's coached this guy what 6, 7 years now, and all that turned out to be true. Kerr did not panic whatsoever.
No, and you know what I learned as a coach? You're gonna get criticism and a lot of times eventually fired. So why not do things the way you want to do them, the way you think they'll work best,
Yeah.
and the way you trust players, if that's going to happen anyway. And that's what Steve Kerr, of course, he's a Hall of Fame coach, I think. He's got championships, and now he's got a gold medal, and like all these Celtic fans, I'm sorry, guys. Step away, man. You think it's personal? You think that because the Celtics beat the Golden State Warriors at the end of the last season, that Steve Kerr is going to sit Tatum because of that? Because that's all that's on Steve's mind. He's not. It's not on his mind to win a gold medal. It's not on his mind to play the best players that are available. It's not on his mind that he's going to be coaching the Golden State Warriors, making millions of dollars. It's not on his mind that he has a great family and enjoying life. No, what's on his mind is to get Tatum back and the Celtics. Come on, man, give me a break.
Yeah, that is utterly ridiculous.
I'm telling you, the first thing, Ricky, I've been there. So the first time that Tatum sat and he caught all this grief is because KD didn't play in the preseason, in the friendly games. So he put KD in the first quarter of that first game, and KD went off. He had 21 points. Yeah. So, okay, let's see if he can run some more. And I'm sorry, Tatum. We know what you could. We're going to see what he does now. That's
yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. But Mo, some of the shots that Curry hit, I'm thinking that's just a bad shot, man. But
it is for everybody else.
When you're coaching a guy like that, he gets that green light.
Absolutely, yes. And basketball teams are not a democracy. Everybody doesn't get the same minutes. Everybody doesn't get the same shots. Guys get leeway. Like I had a player in Reno in the G League, Andre Emmett. God rest his soul. He passed away a few years ago, but he was a Texas A&M player, played in the NBA, 6'6", scoring machine. He could drive it, he could dunk it, he could shoot the three, he could fake you in the air. He could do everything. He could score at any level. He scored 30 points in an NBA game, no problem. But he over dribbled sometimes. And my offense is movement, ball movement, cutting, player movement, move the ball, don't stand. My rule is 3x3. You have 3 seconds to shoot it if you're open, drive it if the lane is open, pass it if your teammate's open. But with Andre, all bets are off. And guys would kind of get a little whiny about it. I say, listen, Andre has different rules than you. I'm sorry, because he just scored 35 points last game and had 10 assists and 12 rebounds. If you get frustrated while he's dribbling, cut to the basket. Because guess what? You're going to open up space for him, or guess what? He might even pass you the ball, you get a layup. But yeah, that's absolutely the way it is.
For another one from Ricky, these all-stars need to adjust and put egos aside. Look at the 92 Dream Team. Every one of those players accepted they were not the man. MJ could have taken over at any time, but didn't. Tatum's mom needed to chill. Yeah. But I didn't see a lot of pouting on that bench.
No. I don't agree. I don't think there was no egos out there. Tatum wasn't upset he wasn't playing a little bit, but he wasn't pouting, and he wasn't. When you sign up for this, it's told at the beginning, listen, guys are going to have to play different roles. You're all the number one option on your team. You're not anymore. We can't have 12 number one options. It doesn't work that way. We can't have five shooters out there. It doesn't work that way. We got to have a blend of people. And I think they put their egos aside. And, look at Halliburton. He was an all-star, right? He didn't hardly play, and he was fine. He's going to be part of the team in 4 years. But I think they put their egos aside. What I think they need to adjust to is the FIBA game is way more physical. They get into your face, they hold, they grab, and then they raise their hand and smile at you like, I fouled you. They're very physical foulers. They take fouls all the time. Referees are totally different. It's not the NBA. They don't care who you are. They're going to ref the way they see it, and they don't want to hear any flack from anybody. The rules are a little different. You need more movement. The zone is allowed, so they can lock in on people. So I think they need to adjust that way. I think their egos aren't it. But to answer that question, like I said earlier, they need to think about having more role players that accept their roles and know how to play those roles. One of the guys I'm thinking is Aaron Gordon from Denver. Power forward, physical, knows how to score without running a play for him, can defend, tough. He'd be a great role player for the 2028 team. Is he an NBA All-Star? No. Is he a Hall of Famer? No. But he plays a great role as a powerful enforcer and back cutter and catch lobs and dunk.
Hey Mo, when they first got to France, Anthony Edwards said, "I'm the number one option on this team."
Well, I think he found out he wasn't. And
he did not pout either. He did not pout either.
Because I don't even think he played in the second half of the gold medal game. I don't think he played in there. I'm not positive, but I think he played maybe a little bit. But okay, so people just listen. So when you look at the stats from the Olympics, so they played 6 games, they won all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 players played in all 6 games. 3 others played in 5 of them, and Halliburton only played in 3. Okay. So when you look at the minutes of all the games, what they average, Steph Curry averaged 23 minutes. Hello. LeBron averaged 24. KD averaged 22. Booker averaged 22. Holiday averaged 19. Tatum averaged 17. Derek White averaged 16. Bam Adebayo averaged 16. AD averaged 16. Embiid averaged 17. And Anthony Edwards averaged 17 minutes a game. That can't get much more spread than that. I mean, look at the scoring. These are all guys that average 20 plus, 30, whatever. Curry averaged 14.8. LeBron averaged 14. KD averaged 14. Anthony Edwards averaged 13. Booker averaged 12. Embiid averaged 12. AD averaged 8. I mean, that's what you want from a team, right? I mean, I don't know how you could do it any better than that with the players you had, and I just think they did a great job. I mean, the France game, France is really good, but in my opinion, the biggest game was Serbia in the semis. Serbia had them down by 8 or 10 points. Serbia is a team that is very hard to come back on and make a run on because you got the Joker, but you got a lot of other good players on that team that know how to win. They don't turn the ball over. And to me, I was very surprised that USA won that game. And that was even a bigger game than France in my mind.
Yeah, they they dug deep. They dug deep. But Serbia was really getting after them. They were really physical with them, and they found a way. And Mo, this guy gets so much criticism for almost everything he does, and so many people think he's selfish. But I think LeBron James enjoyed playing on this team more than anybody. I think he
Yes.
loved playing with these great players
I
because
don't
really it's a way for him to showcase a whole nother facet of his skill. He's a terrific passer.
LeBron averaged 24 minutes a game. He averaged 14 points, 8 rebounds, and almost 9 assists.
In 24
So
minutes.
in 24 minutes, and took over games when he needed, passed the ball when he needed. I mean, you watch that game. He made a behind the back bounce pass to somebody underneath the basket. That's
Oh
unheard
my
of
gosh.
between two guys. And I don't know why. There's a lot of LeBron haters out there. I don't know why, because he has a high basketball IQ. He doesn't usually force shots. Um, he's competitive as hell. Everybody loved playing with him, and I don't know why you wouldn't want him on your team.
Yeah, just that was fun to watch. As Ricky says, he did a great job. He was Kerr was solid, but maybe they can get him to come back and do it again, though.
At 44, I don't know about that.
Hey, these players getting bonuses from Nike or whatever their companies might be.
Probably, but I don't think they care because they make 40 or 50 million a year. So a bonus, if
Yeah,
it's a bonus, I know some countries give bonuses. Gold medals are worth like 600 grand, and silvers are 500 grand, and stuff like that. But I don't think USA does that. They maybe get 100 or 200, maybe, I don't even know. But I mean, to them, what is that? That's nothing, right?
yeah, yeah. Hey, Paul, we talked about this last week, but for our guest this week, and please let us know your questions and comments. We definitely want to hear 'em. Yeah, what is it you like so much about the FIBA game? And now all FIBA games are 40 minutes. Would you like to see them play 48 minutes?
Hold on a sec.
Hey, make sure you send us your questions and comments. I see all you people out there looking at us. We want to hear from you. Uh, would you like to see FIBA go to 48 minutes? And explain again, you told us last week and for our viewers this week, why 40 minutes was more dangerous for USA than 48 and playing
Well,
48.
there's a couple things like FIBA's not going to 48 minutes. FIBA's been 40 minutes for forever, so they're not going to adjust to the NBA. That's not happening. And when you look at like college is 40 minutes and FIBA is 40 minutes, the difference is there's less timeouts in FIBA. Players cannot call timeout. Only the coach can call timeout, and only at a dead ball. So the game goes really fast, and make a couple turnovers, and they come down and knock down a couple threes. You can get a 9-0 run in 30 seconds in a FIBA game. It's just turnarounds happen a lot. The rules being what they are, more physical. You get more steals because you can actually hand check kind of and poke the ball out a little bit. So, that's it's totally different game. Steve Kerr said it. When he started getting all this grief about playing time, guy, this isn't the NBA. It's not the NBA rules. It's not the NBA referees. It's not the NBA time. This isn't the NBA. This is FIBA, and FIBA's not changing. So we need to adapt to FIBA.
Do you like being able to take the ball off the rim?
Yeah, I think. I mean, how many times do you see it happen? Couple.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal. I mean, we had that rule. They still have the rule in the G League. It only happens once or twice, maybe in a game. But I like it because it takes the guesswork out of goaltending. If the ball hits the rim, you can knock it off or tip it in. You can't knock it out of the cylinder if it hasn't hit the rim yet. But once it hits the rim, it's live. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out, and it leads to some exciting plays.
Hey, Paul. Now, I read a piece today. I want to get your take on it, and I think you got a little list too. As we look forward to 2028, a guy Ricky O'Donnell, writing for Microsoft, had a nice list of the 2028 team. He thinks Anthony Edwards will be back, along with Devin Booker. Tyrese Halliburton will play a bigger role, and Ja Morant would be the next guard, would be the fourth guard. The forwards, Kevin Durant, maybe. He'll be almost 40. Jason Tatum, and he has Banchero, but I think he is from Mexico.
Yeah, he played for another country, but you can change after 3 years, I think. So, we'll see. But yeah. I think he plays for his other country.
Here's a guy people are talking about already. Cooper Flagg will be going to, I think he signed with Duke. He's only 17 right now, but people love his game. I hadn't heard people talk about a 17-year-old like this since LeBron came out. Would be one of the forwards.
Well, rightfully so, because he played on the practice squad against Team USA 2 weeks ago here in Vegas and was very, very, very good. Even LeBron commented about how good he was.
Okay, Cooper Flagg, Zion Williamson is on this team. The big guys, Chet Holmgren, Bam Adebayo, he would be one of the leaders, I would assume, of this team at 31 at this 4 years from now. And Derek Lively, who, I thought he really did a good job for Dallas during the playoffs. He could be one of those role guys, maybe. How do you like this group of guys?
Well, I think Anthony Edwards is going to be the main guy. I think Booker is going to be there. Booker is an unsung hero. Booker plays tough physical defense and has a mean streak in him, and I think it showed. And B, depending on, he's talking about playing for Cameroon next Olympics. I'm not sure if he will. Anthony Davis, Bam, Tatum, Halliburton. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 that I would invite. I would invite Brunson. I would absolutely invite Maxey. I think he'd be a key player on that team. I'd invite Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Towns, Chet Holmgren, Aaron Gordon, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Cooper Flagg. And then I'd invite Evan Mobley, the big kid from Cleveland, who's in his own. And this is going to be 4 years from now. He's going to be 27 years old. That would be my 18 guys.
Steve said Zion might be out of basketball at 22.
Yeah, he could be. And Steve,
I hope not.
I would not invite Zion. I mean, he's not a feeble player. He's undersized. He can't shoot. He gets hurt all the time. And FIBA is very physical, so I don't know if Zion would even fit in there, and I don't know where he would fit. But that's just me.
Hey, but Paul, you make such a good point about Devin Booker. I never thought of him, never looked at his game from a defensive standpoint. But, man, he gets after you out there.
Well, he's got a mean streak. He's tough. He's physical, and that's what you need in FIBA. A lot of times our players aren't used to this physicality that they have over there. and they either shy away or they get frustrated and reach out, and then they get fouls called on them. I mean, I'm telling you, in FIBA, you're dribbling on a fast break. You saw it. Someone's going to just knock you down and then raise their hand because they're taking you out. They're taking you away from the break. They don't care. And Booker just bought into it. Booker was in people's faces. He was physical. I thought both in the Serbia game and besides Curry, those crazy shots in the France game, he was key. He was guarding their guards. He was playing physical. I thought he did a great job.
Hey, what did you think about Wembyana?
Well, he's a freak of nature. I mean, he's the future of basketball. I mean, the guy can shoot, the guy can dribble, the guy can pass, the guy can block shots. I wish he would rebound better. He needs to get stronger, not bulk up, but get stronger. But I mean, he does stuff. I mean, look at the game. He had, I think, the first 5 or 7 points, but one of them was a sidestep, step back three, and then the other one was he drives left on somebody and then takes off from almost the free throw line and dunks it with his right hand on Hall of Famers. I mean, and he's young, he's competitive.
He's competitive,
If he stays injury free, because a lot of guys that size, we've seen it before, they get injured. But I think his routine is so solid, stretching, yoga. He's so conscious of his body and has been that, I mean, he's Kareem with the 3-point shot. I mean, you know, and even taller and longer. I mean, he does stuff. I mean, I don't know if you see, I think one of the Steph Curry shots that he shot over him, like he was like 12 feet in the air. It was amazing. I mean, Wembanyama, and you see that San Antonio is starting to get some veterans they're going to put around him to help him win because he wants to win. And
man, he was in tears after the game. That meant a lot to him, man.
Sure, he's playing on his home country, in front of his home fans, from his family, and the kid's only 20, 21 years old. He's 20 years old, whatever he is. So, yeah, you know, he wasn't the only one crying, but I mean, his competitiveness is one of the things that stood out to me when I watched him play in person, and here in Vegas, and when I watched him play. He competes. A lot of guys now are too cool, man, too smooth. I don't want to look funny. I don't want to have someone dunk on me because it looks bad, so I won't go for a block. I don't want to do all this other stuff because it doesn't look cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. This experience when, you know, think about how good that team had to be for Halliburton to really just, I mean, he was basically along for the ride. Will he benefit from that, though, Paul?
Yeah, he played he was one of the best players in the World Cup. He got this experience, and he's going to be one of the main guys next year. He was the 12th man. Guess what? 12th men don't get to play. Sorry, that's the way basketball is. Come on, man. I mean, and you know, he is in the experience. I mean, so what are you going to play? Okay, you're going to play him in front of Curry, LeBron, KD, Anthony Edwards, Booker,
right,
AD, Holiday, Bam. I mean, come on, man. It's like, just look at the list. He's not stupid. I mean, but he's now in the USA.
Who are we supposed to take out so your son can play?
Yeah, right? I mean, well, who are you supposed to take out so Tatum can play? Because, you know, it's a personal against him and Steve. You know? Come on, man.
Yeah.
And let's face it, really. Let's face it, really. I mean, Tatum tends to turn the ball over when he dribbles in the paint, especially when it's physical like FIBA. Guys are grabbing you. They don't care. You know, so he's not going to get the calls he got in the NBA. And his 3-point shot, I think he was 0 for 10. So his 3-point shot wasn't there, you know. So, you know, and you know, he didn't play in one game. Then he started him, and he played pretty good. And then he helped out a little bit. So what? You're the 11th guy. Who cares? I mean, 10th guy. You got a gold medal, but everybody gets all up in arms. It's still mind-boggling. I mean, play 12 guys. Why?
But Paul, you know, in basketball, you coach. I want to ask you, but the number one demon to me in basketball, almost any sport, is turnovers. If you turn that ball over multiple times, it doesn't matter how good your team. You better be really, really good down the stretch because you're gonna be in trouble.
That's what got USA in trouble against Serbia. They turned Curry did his lazy turnovers and KD did a lazy pass. They had like 5 turnovers in the second quarter, and the turnovers in FIBA when you're playing these type of teams turn into 4 or 5 point differentials. You don't get 2 points, they go down and bang down a 3. That's a 5-point difference, and it happens really fast. And I mean, and there's a lot of holding and grabbing going on. So you got to be careful with the ball. You can't throw lazy passes, not only for you throwing it, but for the person catching it, because guys are getting held too. So you got to be really strong. And let's face it, even LeBron, Curry, KD, all these guys are used to throwing like okay passes, no big deal. You can't do it in FIBA.
Yeah.
And it caught up with them. Almost cost them the Serbia game.
Hey, Mo,
I think they had 18 turnovers.
Is that ball any different?
Oh, it's totally different. Yes. Yeah, it's a little lighter, I think.
What's the deal with the little white, off-white?
That's just a color. I mean, that's just a color.
It's not the okay.
No, it's leather. It's all leather, but it's slippery. It's more slippery. It's a little lighter. It seems like it feels a little smaller. So yeah, it's different, and that's why if Team USA is smart, they come here and for 2 weeks they use that ball and get used to it. Well, you should be doing that long before that. It's a different ball. I remember when I coached in the Olympics in 2012 with the Great Britain, and they always made us use a new basketball too. I'm like, why don't we use one that's broken in? And the referees made us use a new one that was slippery, and then when it got wet, it got more slippery. So, it's different for sure.
But Paul, when you talk about building this team, you think we need to start 3 years out, or was it 2 years out?
I would start 3 years out. I would have a mini camp again in Vegas, and then I would play 3 or 4 friendly games. So you invite whoever you want, Canada, France, Spain, whoever you want. You invite them here to play in Vegas, or maybe you go overseas and play somewhere and you play a couple games, and then you get another week or so of training camp for that summer, and then the next summer you really train, and then you get ready to play in the World Cup, and that's where real competition is. And
you just mentioned. No, go ahead.
We send our JV team to the World Cup. I can't. It was Edwards was on that team, Halliburton, and I think Bam was on that team, but everybody else was not. So they got beat, and the other players didn't play together. So why not send your best team to the Worlds and try to win the gold? And if not, it helps you win the gold in the Olympics. I don't. That's what they need to do. That's what all other teams do. That's what all the other teams are doing. That's what Serbia is doing. That's what France is doing. They're all doing that. Those teams are playing together.
Yeah,
different summers.
We better wake up. We can't roll it out anymore. Just can't roll the ball out anymore. But Paul, you mentioned Canada. I got to get your thoughts on them losing. France got them in the quarterfinals, 82-73. I thought Canada would be our toughest matchup for USA.
Yeah, I think Canada was, they underperformed, but also Canada has as good a guards as any team. They got Murray, they got Shea Alexander, and they got Dylan Brooks. But they don't have any big players. They don't have any bigs. Their bigs are secondary players. So when you play France or Serbia or even USA, you have to have bigs to compete with the bigs, and they didn't. Edey was on that team, and he pulled out to get ready for the NBA season or whatever. But Canada had a lot of NBA players, but look who their bigs were. Who are their bigs?
They will be back because I'm sure Edie will play the next time.
Yeah,
And,
I would think so.
and Murray and Shea Alexander are both young enough, so they'll be back in 28. So
So
they'll be a
their
strong
their
team.
their bigs are Dwight Powell, 6'9", and Kelly Olynyk. Those are their bigs.
Yeah.
So you can play
And
against the
Kelly's
Joker.
7 foot, but he's a more of a perimeter player.
He's older too, and he's not really 7 foot. He's like 6'11". I mean, that's their bigs. But look at they have Shea Alexander. They got Murray. They got R.J. Barrett. They got Dylan Brooks. They got Dort. They got their wings and guards are really good, but they have no bigs. So
Yeah.
that's their downfall. You have to have bigs to play in FIBA basketball. You have to, because you're playing Wembanyama, you're playing the Joker. You're playing. You got to play these guys.
Well, man, I tell you, you mentioned Edie. I can't wait for the start of the season this year, Mo. I'm interested to see how Edie is going to do. And there's so many good teams out there now. And everybody's going to be gunning for the Celtics. But I think the power is going to be in the West again.
Well, I think the East is, Boston again, but Porzingis is injured. He probably won't play till Christmas. Philadelphia, they made the big move to get better. Milwaukee, they're a question mark. They should be there. Cleveland, up and coming. They made a nice run last year. Orlando in that same boat. But in the West, I mean, I think the Lakers are going to be better than people think. You got OKC, you got Dallas. I'm trying to think who else you got. A handful of teams that can do damage out there.
In the West, OKC. I mean, yeah. I mean that the West is loaded. But Mo, how much longer can LeBron play at this level?
Well, I said when I saw him here in the gym for the first practice, he had the most energy. He was the most positive. He was the most athletic player in the gym. And look at the Olympics. He did the same thing, almost averaged a triple-double. So the dude is going to turn 40 years old, but he's playing at this level that has not been seen before. Kareem played till I think he was 41 or 42, but he was 7'3", different. But I mean, he's the way he takes care of his body, the way he knows how to get in shape, stay in shape. Who knows? I mean, everybody's laughing like, in 2028 he's going to be 44. Well, who knows? Maybe he will play. But I would think he'd go out as a Laker and make a run in the playoffs maybe next year. But I'm not doubting him. Look, he was playing with and against the best players in the world, and he was one of the best. I mean,
he was the MVP.
The Joker was there.
Mo,
Wemby was
at
there.
44,
Guys were there.
we could, if nothing else, we could put him on the 3-on-3 team, man.
They need to change that for sure. And I'm interested because the big three, they challenged the champions.
Yeah, I too. Yeah.
Yeah, $150,000 to the winner. And, in my opinion, the big three, the older players, but they're not that old anymore. The big three started years ago with older NBA guys. Now they have guys that are, 35, 36, 37. I mean, the big three could put together a couple teams that could win the gold in 3-on-3, I think.
Without question. Without question. Well, we got to talk a little bit about the USA women. Speaking of turnovers, they turned it over. They had 10 turnovers in the first quarter of that game.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, Mo, they had won 59 straight games. At some point, you're going to lose a game. I'm like, wow, this would be a terrible time to lose the game. But as you said at the end of the show, France played great, and I think that crowd got into it a little bit. I think USA's been blowing people out so much they kind of panicked. Then they settled down. But I think you said it last week. They are still way ahead in the women's game in terms of the rest of the world catching up.
I think so. I don't think they panicked at all. I think, they knew they turned the ball over too much. They knew if they would play better and play better defense, they get right back in the game, which they did. I don't think they panicked, and I don't think the coaching staff panicked. But the pressure is on, and sitting there in France, in a packed arena that's screaming for France. And you got LeBron James and all these people on the sideline watching you, along with legends of women's basketball that have won gold medals. And, there's got to be a little pressure, but I think they handled it fine. They got lucky in some things, like I talked about, the shot of Wilson's that hit the top of the backboard and came in. But let's face it, one of the French guards shot like a shot from half court that beat the shot clock and switched in. So, it's funny how in FIBA that happens a lot. You sling it up there and it goes in or banks in. But, I think when it came down to winning time, they got physical. I think the physicality of France bothered them. And I think they executed. And that's what I'm talking about. I just watched the game today. They ran their offense. They ran plays. They ran a timeout play. It was a screen flare, catch it, come off a dribble handoff, and then turn the corner and get a layup. And that's what they ran. And perfect. They got a layup out of it. They executed. And when they had to get the ball in full court against the press, they executed the full court press break. This was good to see and fun to watch that. But that this put a scare into them. I thought they were heads and shoulders above basketball, but France has caught up. Australia has been their competition mostly in the past few years, and they're there. But besides that, you're looking at Japan and China.
I like what you said. I like what you said last week. They are kind of where, when you said they are kind of where we were with the Dream Team in the 90s, because other than this game, they've been winning about 25, 30 points a night.
Yeah, I think that's France really surprised me how good they were. And Gabby Williams, I think her name is. She played high school ball in Reno. My son watched her play in high school, and then she went to UConn. But she's a phenomenal player.
Marcus Carroll checked in. I found you, my guy. Is Marcus one of your guys? No, could be.
Yeah, he's a good coach in Houston. Yep, he's a good friend. Yeah, glad you found us, man. A little late, but you got here.
The rest of the world has improved since '92, for sure, for sure. Mo broke that down earlier in the show, Marcus. Really, that's a compliment to USA basketball, don't you think, Paul? The way the rest of the world has picked it up.
Well, I think the Dream Team started it, and basketball has been big around the world. They're just elevating their level, and look at the best players in the NBA over the last 5 years have been European players. You got the Joker, Giannis, and Embiid. So there's no AAU basketball overseas. They play games and they practice and they work on their skills. But YouTube and watching games on the internet and on TV now, so they get the bug. Kids get the bug and they watch guys in the NBA like Ja Morant and those guys. They go, I want to be like that, So, it's a matter of time. It's already caught up.
What do you think about Ja Morant as a Olympic player? And could he handle the FIBA game?
I think so. He's really athletic. I think, he does a lot of things good. I would see a question because they're going to knock the crap out of him. So he's going to be able to he has to be able to handle the physicality of FIBA, but I think he could. Let's see how he does this year when he plays a full year, hopefully. He doesn't do anything stupid off the court, because guess what? If you do, luckily it'll be in LA, so you're okay. But if you did something stupid off the court in France or Spain or something, they throw you in jail for crazy stuff, and you never get out. So you got to be careful.
You don't want that. You don't want that. Hey, we're headed down the home stretch. If you got any more questions or comments, need to get them in now. Uh, Marcus says you got to have a chess mindset in FIBA. I wish you could expound on that a little bit, Marcus. What do you think he's saying with that, Mo?
I think you got to think ahead, and you got to, like I had said earlier, you got to execute stuff. You can't just play pick and roll basketball, spread the floor. It doesn't work anymore. That's in FIBA. I mean, you got to have actions and movement, get players the ball where they need it, because not only does it, FIBA allow zone and loading up the defense, you can also hold, grab, push, shove, and all that's in play while you're trying to get a shot off. So I think it's important to run actions that give players freedom to do what they do.
Yeah. I'll have my Lions cap on next week, Steve. Hey, the Lions play the Chiefs preseason, Mo. You want to lay a couple of bucks on the preseason game?
No, but I'll do a dinner.
All right, we'll do that. I just want everybody to stay healthy. I was reading before we came on the air. Jamar Gibbs left practice injured today, so that's not good for the Lions. Let's hope it's nothing serious.
That's what I always say, man. The best ability is availability. Don't get hurt.
Marcus, strategy must fit the need from moment to moment. Yeah.
That's why there's more adjustments happen in FIBA basketball. Teams throw zones at you and all this stuff. And you have to be adaptable along with your substitution patterns and matchups. I'll say it, Steve Kerr and his staff did a great job. They did all that. I would like them to run more actions and give some players more options, but the rotations and that stuff was really, really spectacular. And then they relied on KD, Curry, and LeBron at the end to pull them through.
Well, we are headed down the home stretch. Mo, before we go, we got a couple of minutes. Why do even I see it in the NBA, teams struggle. These great NBA players struggle against simple 2-3 zones.
No idea. I mean, I told you I can drop a play. It's called Horn's baseline. That you get a baseline runner against the zone, and you have some X action with the big. It kills the zone immediately, no problem. But nobody does it. They just spread the floor, and hopefully someone dribbles or catches it in the middle. I don't know. Mind-boggling to me, Ricky. I mean, maybe I'll sell that offense, and anybody can pay me. It kills the zone every time. You just player movement, ball movement, baseline runner, overload the zone.
Yeah, Marcus, last one of the night, management of egos and accepting roles is a huge factor. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, and I thought USA was excellent in that regard. It wasn't a lot of pouting on that bench, maybe from the stands and Twitter and all of that, but they stayed together as a team.
And that's why I think USA, has to lean towards NBA coaches like Steve Kerr, like Spoelstra, because guess what they do all year long? They manage egos and all year long, and agents and egos and all that stuff. They manage it all year long, and it's a huge part. I mean, like I said before, man, I don't know why you would want to coach USA. I mean, you win 6 games, you win the gold, and people say you can't coach. Okay, thanks. I say kiss me.
Hey, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here, man. Great conversation, brother. Always appreciate your insights. We appreciate everybody checking in. We are here every Monday, Sports Fluent. We got next. I'm Ricky Hampton, I'm Paul, and that's my great friend, Paul Mokeski. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Big Mo.
USA.